Dude, how are you enjoying the car, man? Isn't it awesome? Wait, what happened? What? You got in an accident. The mirror is smashed? The side door is scratched. Dude, what's up, man? Yeah. Dude, you should buy a Tesla, man. Rent it out on Turo. It'll pay for itself, man. I'm telling you. Dude, the electric engine lasts 1,000,000 miles. And because there are so few parts, you barely have to pay for maintenance. I met a couple in Colorado. They were renting out their Tesla. They had 4 Teslas that they were renting out on Turo. And when I asked them, I said, hey, like, are you guys paying your car payments every month? And they said, yeah, man, we're making money, actually. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. You think it's a bad idea? I'm going to do it. Hello, this is William. You need my permission to what? You need my permission. You need me to tell you where to tow my car. What? Why does my car need to be towed? Wait, hold on. Are you? So my car is being towed? What? You don't know? You don't know what's wrong with my car? Okay, hold on. Let me just check, because my car is being rented out on Turo. So let me just check to see if I have any messages. Okay, it looks like I have a message from the person that's renting it out. Okay, hold on a second. A flat tire. He just picked it up an hour ago. That's crazy. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I planned on buying a Tesla Performance Model 3, renting it out on Turo, and having the car actually pay for itself. First, I'm going to talk about my expectations going into this, my expected numbers, what I planned on making. Then I'm going to walk you guys chronologically through what actually happened within the first month of me buying this car and renting it out on Turo. At the end of this video, I'll actually run through all the numbers for my first month renting out my Tesla Model 3 on Turo. And if you stay until the end of the video, I'll actually hint at some troubles that I ran into within my second month of renting out my car on Turo, which is right now. But first, if you have any appreciation for me taking the time to share this experience, please hit the subscribe button, which should be located right here, or hit the like button. All right, so let's dive into it. And that I would actually be eligible for the $4,000 electric vehicle tax credit. So that brings my total cost for this car to $65,251. This is what I was assuming would be my initial investment. When I looked at Turo, other people renting out their Model 3s, the cheapest daily price for a Tesla Model 3 was $117 a day. And these are like Model 3s that are a few years old. Some of them don't, they don't have full self-driving. They're not performance. So I just assumed that I should be able to charge probably at least $125 a day for my Tesla. And with that price, I thought I should be able to rent it out at least 20 days out of the month. And if Turo takes 25%, my total monthly revenue, and this leaves a total monthly revenue of $1,875. According to Google, vehicles on Turo that offer a limit of 250 miles a day are driven an average of 119 miles a day. So if the vehicle is rented out 20 days a month, should be doing at least 2,380 miles a month. Since I can write off 54 cents for every mile with my top tax bracket at about 35%, I'll actually save about $450 in taxes every month. So that's my tax savings indirect revenue, which I'm going to call indirect revenue. Also, I like to get away from the city for long weekends with the dogs. So for my business, I usually end up renting a car, which costs me about $400 in car rental savings, which brings me to a total of about $2,762. This is all napkin math. I'm like, if I'm a few dollars off here and there, please don't take me too seriously right now. These are just my expectations. So costs associated with owning the Tesla, because I'm financing the car, the entire price of the car using M1 Finance margin account at 2%, This leaves me only paying a $108 interest every month. So my real monthly cost, of course I owe the entire price of the car, but in the long run, if this car has a return, a positive return, it should pay for itself, and then I can pay back that loan, hopefully. Insurance was quoted at $185 for my Tesla. So I just said, let's just say $200, put $220 for parking. I expected my total payment for every month for my Tesla to be about $638. So if we take that against the revenue, my total expected profit was $2,123 every month. Yeah, so basically what I was trying to say is, well, if I'm making $2,100 a month on my car, after 4 years, that ends up being about $100,000. The car will still be worth $26,000, and if you subtract the amount that you actually had to pay, that you paid for the car, $65,000, then you're left with a total return of about $63,000, which over the course of 4 years is a 97% return, which is the same as a compound annual growth rate of 18.45%. So I was trying to argue that, an 18.5 compound annual growth rate is pretty incredible for also being able to own and drive your own Tesla. So these are my lofty expectations. So I kind of tossed those numbers. So this is just a rant that I did on Excel, and then I posted it on Facebook. Anyway, you guys might think I'm crazy, but these are the numbers I ran when I got all excited about buying a Tesla, renting it out, and having it pay for itself. So now I'm going to walk you through what, day by day, what actually happened, my entire Tesla buying experience and Turo experience. So let's do it. I was trying to avoid New York sales tax. So basically I was having the car sent to Mount Kisco because they said that they could take delivery for a car even though it's being registered in Colorado, and I would only have to pay Colorado sales tax. That's what they told me. But then eventually they said, oh wait, you have a business in New York? No, you can't do that. And I ended up having someone drive from the upstate New York location in Mount Kisco. They drove all the way to the Jersey location in Paramus, where I guess Jersey is offering no sales tax on electric vehicles. So definitely look into that if you're buying a Tesla. So I ended up picking up my Tesla from Paramus, New Jersey, and it's funny, it was a complete remote pickup. I was so excited. I've never owned a car. I had a motorcycle a while back, but I never owned a car. Just meeting my brand new Performance Model 3 2021 for the first time. Looks pretty sexy and sleek. Pretty excited about this. Yeah. Oh my god. Can't even believe it. I guess those are my temp plates. Pretty sexy little car. And I got in the car and I'm like, oh, it's like brand new. There's like, paper floor mats to like protect the floor in the car or something. I'm fucking beside myself. I can't believe that this car is mine. Like, what the hell do I even do now? Oh my god, this is crazy. This is actually insane. It's such a crazy feeling. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna hit the road, head to New York City. And it's funny because everything was on the phone. I just had my Apple AirPods in, and they just walked me through, the checkout process. I did all the payment on the app. All I did was enter my banking info, and boom, the car is mine, just like that. And they left the key cards in there. They told me to like set up my phone as a phone key. Super seamless. But then I tried to pull out of the parking lot, and I couldn't figure out how to turn the hazards off, because I guess when they opened it for me, it turned the hazards on automatically. So I sat there for like 5 minutes messing with the screen, trying to turn the hazards off. And then finally I saw a Tesla rep walking by, and I rolled my window down. I said, hey, excuse me, like, do you know how to turn the hazards off in my car? And she just did this, and I was like, oh. And I looked, and there's one button to turn the hazards off. Anyway, so that was my first experience in my Tesla. And then I pulled out of the parking lot, and I remember pulling out onto it was kind of a highway, and all these cars were going by pretty quickly. And I knew, there wasn't a lot of time between cars, but I knew that I had a 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. So I saw some time, and I saw a little window, and I just went boom, and I was just like, wow, the power in this car. I zipped right into the highway. I was already going, I already had matched speed with all the cars on the highway. So really exciting getting my Tesla. I picked up my car on Christmas Eve. So it arrived just in time for Christmas. It was kind of like a Christmas present to myself. And I was going, that day I was actually driving out to Provincetown, which is like a beach town all the way east, Massachusetts. Massachusetts? Yeah, Massachusetts. And I went back to the city, picked up all of my dogs, and I drove out to Provincetown. It's like a 5-hour drive. And yeah, it was amazing. But the first day that the next day, so I drove out to Provincetown, and the next day I woke up and I looked at my car, and there was a giant seagull poop, just right on top of the car. It was dripping down the window into the cracks of the window and stuff. And I was like, man, and I looked back and forth. I looked at all the other cars on the street, and I said, really? The day after I buy this brand new car, no other car had any bird poops on them. So I was like, this seagull just happened to see my car parked and just went boom, dropped a bomb on it. And so I was like, wow, I chose to say, you know what, this is a sign of good luck. All I have to do is clean it off, and there's good luck going forward, So it was really cool, showing my family the car, and I let my dad, Aaron, drive the car, and within the first 5 minutes, he rubbed it against a curb, and I heard it. I heard the grind, and I said, Aaron, dude, you just scratched the rim, and he's like, what? I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you. And we pulled over, and I looked, and I was like, look, the rim is scratched. It wasn't very big, but, and he's like, dude, and he felt so bad. He was so sorry. But, and I just put my hand on it. I was like, look, don't even worry about it. I'm renting this car out on Turo. This is going to happen again. I'll wait for some other poor lad on Turo to scratch the rim, and I'll use that opportunity to file a claim. I was like, don't even worry about it. So that was day 3, the rim had already been scratched. And then, I took some really nice pictures in Provincetown of the car. I dropped it off. I was really excited about my first Turo rental. The guy seemed great. And, within the next day, I got a phone call from him, which is the one that I reenacted in the beginning of this. Basically, he was telling me that the mirror got smashed off and the door was scratched a little bit. And, I just said, okay, I can't believe this happened on the first day. Are you kidding me? See it a little bit better now that the mirror opened. And yeah, the whole thing broke off and flung, and the actual wires with the metal, with the mirror part, was flapping against the door. You can see there's a couple scratches here, a couple scratches there and there and there. Could have been worse, but and of course I chose the most expensive Turo plan in terms of deductibles, and it ended up being $2,100 for damages, and my deductible is $2,500. Luckily, this guy was great, and so he didn't even tell me. Maybe he said he didn't even notice, but the 2 other wheels were actually scratched as well. He didn't tell me, but this whole wheel is shredded all the way around. Completely shredded. I noticed there's a tiny scratch here. It's not the end of the world, but geez, the rims are... I'm just sick to my stomach. Not just the mirror and the door. So it ended up being $2,100 of damage. We split the cost. well, he gave me $1,000 and I threw in the other 1,100. So that was a $1,100 unexpected cost, after my first rental. So I was already in the negative, And I said, okay, let's get back on the horse. And I put it back on. And my second renter, so I'm just sitting there watching Netflix, and I get a phone call. And, from a dispatcher basically asking me for permission to tow my car and where I would like it to be towed. And this was not very exciting. I was like, are you kidding? But luckily, after the first incident, I basically upped my Turo insurance to the safest plan where I have 0 deductible, and I upped my personal insurance to the lowest deductibles for everything, because I was like, I don't know how I can have such bad luck, but I'm upping all my insurance to like maximum insurance just in case. And I was like, you know what, I'll see how much bad luck I could possibly have, and then later on I can adjust if I think I have really good luck, but who knows. And so anyway, so he got a flat tire. Luckily Turo covered everything, and it was still a pain in the butt. I had to go all the way to that same Paramus service center location. He didn't even get an hour out of Jersey City, and he had already gotten a flat tire. And I guess the wheels are very thin because they're kind of sports car wheels. Like the rims are really big and the tires are thin. So he had just hit a pothole, popped the tire. They fixed it. It was like $450, but Turo covered it. So that's my second rental. Luckily, my third and fourth rental actually were successes. So I had like 2 more rentals in that same month period. And luckily they were successful. And I lent the car to my friend, who I will not name in this video, but he scratched my rim as well, and he only made a little scratch. And he messaged me. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. Same thing as my father. I just said, look, someone else is going to scratch it more, and then I'll file a claim, and it'll be fixed. Just I don't want you to have to pay. But I only, at least at that point, I had increased my insurance. So I only had a $100 deductible, and then he called me that same day, and he's like, dude, I really scratched it. He's like, I'm gonna pay the deductible, and I was like, okay, like go for it. He threw me another $100 for the deductible, and basically he had scratched the rim like half a semicircle around it. And I was like, yeah, like I kind of want to fix it, because the thing is, if the rim is scratched all the way around, then I won't be able to see if any new customer scratches it again, and I won't be able to ever file another claim on that wheel. So at that point I was like, okay, let me file a claim. And the insurance company ended up giving me like $750 to fix it. And I was just kind of like, you know what, let me just keep the $750 and wait until a Turo guest scratches the other side of that wheel and file a claim that I don't have any deductible. So I kind of just pocketed the money and plan on using it later if I have to, or just hoping something else happens. And I guess it really gets complicated, all these numbers, and it's definitely a journey. But this is basically sums up the first month of ownership of my Tesla, and a lot happened in the first month. The price of the car was about what they said, $69,141. But what I didn't include in the initial cost was seat covers, $75 for cleaning supplies. I actually had to finish registering my vehicle in Colorado. So the flight to Colorado was $256. And when I got to the DMV, they just surprised me with a huge $5,000 bill. $5,000. They said $5,008 to register my car right now. And I said, what? Dealership told me that there's no registration fee and that the Colorado taxes are only like $1,500 or something, and that I already paid it. But nope, they gave me a whole list of these expenses between the registration fee, and then there was like this Colorado Springs local tax as well as El Paso County tax. It all added up to $5,000. So that was a huge shock. So really, after all is said and done, my initial cost was actually $70,700. Oh, God, actually, now that I think about it, the floor mats, I'm not even including the floor mats in here. Well, the floor mats were like another $300, $400. Oh, I have to include the floor mats. All right, let's include the floor mats. Yeah, the floor mats were like $400. So, all right, so the real initial cost of my car was actually like $71,100. If you include, the flight to Colorado to register it, the registration fees, the floor mats, the cleaning supplies, the seat covers, everything I needed to get started with car ownership and renting it out on Turo. Yep, so that's like a $6,000 difference right there. I got that totally wrong. And then, in terms of days renting it out, I was expecting like 20, but the truth is I only rented it out about 8 days for the first month of ownership. So, part of it is that I had it in Provincetown for a week. So, on the positive note, I probably would have paid like $600 for a car rental for that week, if not $700 or more. So I saved there, but yeah, I only rented it out 8 days. My income per day, though, is actually relatively better than what I expected, $115 a day. I added up all my Turo income. So yeah, rental income expected $1,875, actual rental income $921. I'm hoping and assuming and praying and whatever that it's January is just a really slow month in terms of rentals. I hope we'll see, and also the combination of COVID I think might be I also think there might be like a surplus of too many people renting out their Teslas on Turo. That could also be driving demand down. So another unexpected income that I don't even know if I should claim it here, but I'm taking the victory. My insurance company paid out $735 for that scratch on that wheel, and at least in terms of cash on cash income for the month, I'm adding that because it's going to come out later in the depreciation of my car possibly, but it might not if there's another scratch and I make a claim. So really, total income was expected was $1,875, and if I include this scratch and this insurance payout, it's $1,656. So anyway, you guys can stay tuned. I'll keep you guys posted on my numbers. But so the thing about my expected car rental savings and tax savings, I think that car rental savings is pretty fair, but what I realized later is the truth is, if I were to rent out a car, I probably would write it off as a tax deduction anyway for my business because I usually take my dogs with me wherever I go. So I can't really say that I'm saving the full $400 because I'm also, I'm taking away that tax savings. And then in terms of tax savings at 58 cents per mile, like the truth is all the miles that I'm writing off kind of take away taxes on the Turo income. So essentially all the Turo income is basically tax free. Just I added up the miles and it's basically like I'm not really paying taxes on Turo income because of the miles driven on my car, which makes sense. And then there's maybe some additional miles that I'm driving to write off. But I just didn't feel like this $488 tax savings was realistic. Basically, at least it's kind of double dipping to say that I'm saving on taxes per mile and saving on the full car rental savings, because the truth is it's kind of one. There's intersection in there, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, so I lowered these to be a little bit more realistic because I definitely saved money by not having to rent a car here, and I definitely saved some money on taxes by writing off miles for business. So this is more, I don't know. I have the log of every mile driven in my car and what it's used for. So that's kind of where I got this 175 from. Is that's how much taxes I will save just on my business miles driven. And then this 260 is kind of just taking 240, and I think I just took away the 35% tax savings that I would have saved. I'm just taking off the tax savings that I would have normally written off of a car rental. So this way we're not double dipping here. So yeah, I would say that my actual income, including indirect income, was actually like $2,091, which is actually pretty good, honestly. But it's really just because of this insurance payout. All right, so let's talk about expenses, real versus expected. So cleaning, I only spent $44 on cleaning. This is because I think I put about $20 on a MetroCard to go back and forth to New Jersey, and the car wash is only like $7. And then I just used the cleaning supplies that I had to clean my car myself. So I understand that this is a lot of time and energy expense, but I'm not including that because it's all part of the experience, in my opinion. And so I actually saved money on cleaning by just doing it myself. It's pretty quick to get there. I kind of enjoy it. I see the car. You kind of have to check in and out in case there's damages. So the truth is, this whole Turo thing is a lot more work than most people realize. And in retrospect, it's not really as much of an investment as it is kind of like an endeavor, to be honest. Interest ended up being a little bit more because I increased my initial cost of the vehicle, which I'm just going to assume that I borrowed the entire amount for that. So the parking garage, ended up being $175 instead of like a solid $250 that I thought it was going to be. Just I got lucky with Tesla's discount at my parking garage. Insurance, because I upped it to like the best insurance, and because there was kind of a price surprise, because it's a performance, and I guess I just got a faulty quote originally. My personal car insurance is $315 versus the $200 that I had expected. I was not expecting to pay $1,115 in damages, which was from the first rental, that I didn't have a very good Turo plan. Now I have a very good Turo plan, so I'm hoping this doesn't happen again, this surprise $1,100 expense. But if you take all of the income and expenses, my net income for the month is negative $110 versus what I expected it to be $1,200. So, I mean, yeah, it's a big difference, but if you include my net income, including indirect income, which is basically just the added value of not having to rent a car and tax write-offs, at least it's positive here, $325 a month. So, there's some positive outlook here. I wish that all these numbers were a little bit more straightforward, but the truth is it's all like so complex in terms of just trying to calculate a basic but I mean just in terms of cash on cash return, like for the amount that I invested through margin, basically, my return is negative 1.86% cash on cash. So if I follow this to the very end, to the moment I sell it, this number should ring true, and then this number you can kind of take me at my word for like what personally am I actually saving money here, so yeah, so that's the real numbers. Anyway, so I know that getting into the intricacies of all these numbers can be a little bit boring, but hopefully you guys took something out of this. There's definitely, so I did promise that I would have a slight reveal at the end of this video. So it's not that exciting, but you know, it's already month 2 of the Turo Tesla car ownership experience. And the other day I was taking my dog for a hike with a friend, and we were on our way back from this hike, and we hit a pothole. And immediately the screen says low tire pressure, and I said shit. I pulled off right away because I knew right away we've got a flat tire. Front right tire flat. When I went to pick up the car, they told me I had 2 flat tires, so I think there was a slow leak in the back tire, or they just completely ripped me off. But it ended up being $940 and $940, and when I asked my insurance, they told me it wasn't covered because they do not cover tire damage. So that was such a bummer. So you know, one step up, 3 steps down, but I'm still going up the mountain. And anyway, thank you YouTube for watching. I really appreciate all of you. If you've made it to the end of this video, you guys are the best, and have an awesome weekend. Peace.
Save and invest your money.